Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a general reading for the sign of Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Pisces, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, you can find that information in my Buy Me a Coffee link, my official Instagram and TikTok, all listed in the About section of my YouTube page. And I thank you so much in advance. Pisces, I hope that you're doing well. I'm going to be using two decks for your reading today. The first one for the overall energy will come from the Wisdom of the Oracle. And then at the end, I will read from the book. And I'm debuting a new tarot deck on my channel today, and I'm so excited. It's Mindscapes Tarot by John Rice. I don't know if you've ever come across his page on Instagram, but he's a very talented artist. He did all of the drawings for this deck himself by hand, and I don't know this person, but I'm just like been following his story and his images and just have been waiting for his tarot deck, and so I'm really happy for him, and I'm happy that I bought his deck. So looking forward to using that for your reading today. The cards have been pre-shuffled. This is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Angel spirits, guides, what messages do you have for Pisces, please? Thank you. Oh, wow, interesting. Number 16, which corresponds to the Tower card of the major arcana. That correlates to Aries and Scorpio energy. The Tower card in the tarot talks about something that is, well, really something that shakes up the system. That's what I wanted to say. Something that is surprising, awe-inspiring, sometimes shocking. Really kind of can be this like lightning bolt from spirit that kind of kicks you in the rear end and says, you know, we got to get moving, we got to get going. There may have been some stagnancy here in your life and procrastination, and no more. The spirit has to intervene and say no more. Pisces, you've been kind of on the sidelines too long, and it's time for you to take the spotlight, right? It could be something like that. The card is all that glitters, and as we know from the kind of, I guess it's a colloquialism, but they say all that glitters is not gold. And so it's kind of like looking at a situation at face value. It's interesting here too that they have the masquerade masks here. I just saw, what was I watching? I don't even remember. I was watching something that was talking about masks like this that, well, are used in a lot of kind of steampunk imagery. If you're familiar with that kind of artistic movement of steampunk, kind of combining kind of goth and wonderment with science and kind of machinery all together. It's like magic and the industrial age creates steampunk. I don't know the actual cultural background of steampunk, but that's how I interpret it. But there's something about these kinds of masks with the long noses, which it's kind of like in the olden days, which I want to say was like maybe the 1700s, 1800s, I don't know, when there were scientists or surgeons or something, like they would wear masks with these long kind of noses because they would put some kind of either drug or chemical inside the snout portion so that when they were doing these makeshift operations or whatever the heck they were doing, they were not inhaling the fumes or something. Why this is relevant, I have no idea, but Spirit is bringing it up. Maybe it was just to bring up steampunk. Maybe that's a genre that you like. You like steampunk books. You like to dress up like steampunk. I'm not sure. But then it's also talking about smell, which is ironic, given a situation that happened to me yesterday at work that had to do with something unpleasant. That, anyway, work is so interesting. But so something maybe about your sense of smell, right? All that glitters. It's kind of like, oh, like that expression, I can sniff out a rat. I can sniff out a rat. That's, I can sniff out a rat. It's kind of like saying, okay, all that glitters is not gold. I can see what's happening here. Of course you can. You're Pisces. You saw it like a year ago or something. You caught it. You know, maybe that's the point. Maybe you saw it a while ago and Spirit is saying, well, now we have to bring in the Tower because maybe you didn't move on it, you didn't act on it, you didn't do what you wanted to do with it, and now we kind of have to move. Because as you can see here, you can see this kind of Spirit being in the background here, kind of looking down at the situation, saying, okay, there needs to be a little bit of a shakeup for Pisces right now. But just remember, whenever the Tower comes in, it's always for your best and highest good. The shakeup happens so we can step out of some kind of complacent mode of being and then move to the next phase, number 17, which is the star energy, wish fulfillment and healing. We want to move to that phase. Okay, so I'm going to pull 3 cards for the base spread, 3 cards for clarifier, past, present, and future. And at the end, I will pull a card of advice from Spirit. This is for Pisces. This is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Whoop. Two more. Two more, please, Spirit. Two more. One more. They gave me 3 more. Okay. I'm going to take the extra 2 as part of your overall energy. Okay. Number 4 of the major arcana, the Emperor. Look at that. Does that remind you of like the Great Wall of China? Amazing. I think it is supposed to be something like that, yeah? Something like that. And the 9 of Stones, which in this deck is the 9 of Pentacles. So right off the bat, Spirit is showing me not to worry. You're not losing your sense of control. Even though Spirit may come in and reveal something to you, it's almost empowering you. You can see things clearly for the first time and see it from Spirit's perspective. I wanted to clarify that. I kind of felt a muting in this ear. It's like your spirit guides came in. I wanted to clarify it with see it from Spirit's perspective. You're not going to lose any sense of control here. You are still kind of fully sitting in the seat of your power. 9 of Pentacles, pre-Empress energy. So essentially we have the Emperor here and the pre-Empress here, like ready to take that step in, that next step into Empress mode. 9 of Pentacles talks about how you've amassed some kind of level of abundance. You worked really hard on it. You were independently minded, independently moving, and you've built something beautiful for yourself. Right? None of that is being lost here, which is very good to see. This feels very powerful, this energy. It's kind of like walking along this wall and then kind of opening up into this grand city. The city that you created, right? A world that you manifested. So it's almost like Spirit sent those two cards out to kind of reassure you. Like, yes, there might be a tower moment that will shake things up, but just remember yourself. Remember your power. We start here in the past energy with the King of Tides or the King of Cups. This is Scorpio energy. King of Tides talks about this ability that we have to readily access our emotions, what we think and feel, with an emphasis on feeling. It's this ability to articulate what we feel to the right people. So we're not going to just pour our heart out to anybody. That's not what it's about. But it is about being very, very clear with what we feel and how we're going to use those feelings to propel us forward, especially as water signs. See, I mean, even this kind of archway area has a very clear perspective on the horizon. I just feel like very clear-headed. Like even the kind of ocean in the background, it seems really tame, right? The sky it's temperate. There's no chaos or conflict there. And what's even beautiful is what clarifies it in the past energy. Queen of Branches or Queen of Wands. Can see here walking into, it feels cool, like damp and cool. Like I feel as though this is some kind of cellar area, like walking down into a cellar, walking down into a, because I feel like this wall here has, depicts all these kind of pickled items, these jars of food or something, jars of something that we've stored away. We can see this lone sunflower here, which in the Queen of Wands cards represent, you know, the sun, illumination, right? Abundance. There's a quietude to this that I don't usually see in Queen of Wands cards. Like a serenity, but in a different way. It's like we've stored things away for a rainy day. Information, experience, and we can come back to it anytime we wish and access it. And when I said access it, when I started doing this, Spirit reminded me of the Akashic Records. So you could be working with the Akashic Records, that kind of interdimensional storehouse where all that was, all that is, and all that ever will be, the information contained in the Akashic Records. There's something to be said about that. What do we want to say about that? I mean, you could be looking at your past or your past lives at this time. It could be of great importance to you. You could be looking at family lineage trauma, right? And realizing like, oh, my family history isn't all that it's cracked up to be. And don't feel any kind of way or weird about that, because most people realize that about, there is always some kind of something in people's families. It's like, oh, we don't talk about Uncle Bob, or like whatever. We don't talk about that guy. There's always something, right? I mean, people aren't perfect. It's how families deal with that imperfection that causes distraction, deflection, secrets. I don't see anything that insidious necessarily, but I do feel as though you are, or you have, this is the past energy, kind of reflected deeply on where you've come from, what has been a part of your personal history, as well as your family history, and what that means for you moving forward and how you feel about it. So you're deeply retrospective, I think, for the past energy. Where are we in the present? 8 of Spires in the reverse. This is the the 8 of Swords. I was almost said Ace of Swords, which is epiphany and clarity. 8 of Spires in the upright, 8 of Swords. Anxious, analysis paralysis energy. We see all these intimidating hurdles, and how do we even imagine ourselves getting around them, getting over them, overcoming them? How are we going to make it across? How are we going to get to the promised land, Spirit just said. Got this card in reverse, though. So it's kind of like this idea that maybe you've been really anxious lately about a particular topic, and you're trying to, I don't want to say repress, but that's kind of what wants to come out. Like, you don't really want to deal with it head on. That could be part of the issue here. Because if the card is in the upright, then it means we can move through the energy. When the card is in reverse, when the cards are in reverse, it's like they're not sitting in their own power. So they're kind of stuck here. So it's kind of like wanting to move past this fear of the future, this anxiety, and not really sure how to move forward from it, right? But then you have the Ace of Spires to clarify it. And this is the card that I almost said, I want to say 8 of Spires, I said Ace, and then I corrected myself, but it's your clarifier. Eventually there will be clarity. There will be something from Spirit that will illuminate the situation. And it probably already has, since this is the present energy, and that might be what is, like, look at that. Take that as a synchronicity. If I ever saw one. Thank you, Spirit. It's like Spirit brought it in. The clarity, the breakthrough energy, the information that you needed to move forward. What information is it? I'm going to clarifier, please, Spirit. What information did we learn? What information did we learn? 2 of Branches. I'm going to pull another card, because 2 of Branches, 2 of Wands talks about fork in the road. One more. Okay. I got an image in my head from the movie that I'm always talking about, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. One of the best movies ever. There is a scene where Indy and his dad are escaping, the enemy, and they come to a fork in the road. Well, they come to a crossroads. They could go straight into the lion's den, or they could find their way back to, like, freedom and whatever. And they have to go into the lion's den. Spirit is wanting me to tell you that these 2 options that you may have. What is the breakthrough? What is the epiphany that we came to? Please, Spirit. Thank you. You're kidding. You got the 2 of Spires, which is the 2 of Swords in reverse. Look. Remember how I was saying before, how are we going to get around it? How are we going to get through? And then it shows up here. You did get this card in reverse. Double 2s, so that might be relevant to you. But essentially, these 2 cards are kind of saying the same thing, but in different suits. This card talks about a sense of indecision in your thinking. This card talks about a sense of indecision in your action. So Spirit is not telling me what the epiphany is. That's for you. It's private, I guess, and it's for you to know, because you will know what it is. What it is that you found out that really either burst your bubble, let you down, surprised you. You know what it is, Pisces. And now it's not a matter of what you think about it, because you know what you think about it. It's a matter of what are you going to do with that information? How are you going to act based on what it is that you've learned? They're not telling me what it is, so I'm going to respect that, because I shuffled and shuffled and shuffled, and kind of what the card that eventually came out is kind of like, I don't want it to say it's like Spirit laughing at me, but they're just like, it's almost like, you can try, honey, but this is personal, it's private. So it's like, okay, you know what it is, right? So leave it at that. Just want to remind you, because Spirit just said, just remind them, you're in control. You got a lot going for you. Don't worry about that part. You got this. You're not, it's almost like, this is like information adjacent. It's not necessarily, it might not even be impacting you directly, but it does impact people that either you love or care about, or your surroundings for some. For the future potential, you got the 5 of branches in the reverse, or the 5 of wands in the reverse, and the magician, number 1 of the major arcana, in reverse. Sorry, this is a really interesting image, so I just want you to look at it. 5 of branches in reverse, 5 of wands in the upright. This can talk about chaos and conflict, and I always see it as like fighting against ourselves. There's a lot of upheaval within the self. You can see that here represented by these bare trees. You can tell something's happened here. We might not know what it is, but we know that it left its indelible mark, Spirit just said. The card is in reverse, though. I kind of like to see this card in reverse, because it kind of tells me, it's just like, all right, squash that feeling for a little bit, like just fighting with yourself. Just squash it for a little while so you can regroup, so you can clear your mind. Clear your mind, right? Because the magician is in reverse. Magician is the master manifester. We got to figure out what it is that we actually want in this situation. What are we trying to manifest exactly? Now that we've come to these epiphanies, now that we see the light, what is it that we want? What do we want from this situation? What's the outcome that is beneficial for all, beneficial for you and everyone else? Got to figure that out first. But in order to do that, you have to clear your mind. You got to like think straight. What is Spirit's advice? Thank you, Spirit. Couldn't have said it better myself. Number 14, Temperance. Sagittarius energy in the major arcana. That's like, it's like Spirit came in and just put the brakes on everything. Right. You can see this volcano has erupted in the background. It's a little bit of lava flow. It's almost like the momentum is already underway. It's already in motion, and it's rather unstoppable. And the only thing that is the prudent thing to do at this time, Pisces, is to allow it to occur, allow it to come to its fruition, and then allow it to pass, allow it to cool. Temperance is all about alchemization, turning one state of being into another state of being. This explosion of magma, lava flow, what does it turn into when it cools? It turns into terra firma. It turns into land. That's how land was created. Right? These huge bubbling over of all of this lava that hardened, and then growth started to occur, right? So this is a beautiful energy. This is a beautiful, it's almost poetic, the way that Spirit is bringing it forth for you. Is to allow this to be revealed in its totality. If it's some kind of something under the surface, some secret or whatever, just family dynamic or work dynamic, whatever it is, stay at a safe distance. All right, we don't want to be right next to the volcano. Stay at a safe distance, observe, reflect, be patient, be forgiving with whatever this is. Temperance is your advice. So let's read from the book number 16, All That Glitters. A need to see beyond the superficial, the desire to don a mask or dress something up to disguise its true nature, trying to be something you're not, chasing after every sparkly new thing, being mercurial. It's only human to want to adorn oneself in trinkets and paint a pretty picture of oneself. It's natural to want to acquire the trappings of status, or to deny them as a statement of rebellion. But if it sparkles, is it better? Whether it's a fast car, a big house, a title or position, the stamp of authority, or the sparkling of diamonds, these icons let you know something about a person, place, or thing. Or do they? The truth is that people seek to acquire things because of what they will do for them and how they symbolically will elevate them and make them more attractive. This card signals that it's time to see beyond the adornments and probe underneath the surface. Learn to recognize the masks people wear and the motives underlying them. Imagine that all the glitter is gone. Would you still desire the object or person? So that's your reading, Pisces. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Pisces.